Actually, the real potential of children is really not understood by modern people. There are a lot of subtle aspects about a child, about what is a human being. I think all that is missing in the modern simplistic way of understanding children. It's a very rational, logical way of understanding children, which I think is completely, they are missing the magical, something that is so deep about children, actually human being. When a child is born, I think it is born with a it's already coming with something very beautiful, something that is very, very deep, and it connects to the world automatically. And its connection is not a very linear, not a very simplistic way of connection. There is a deep connection that it establishes with life. And child is the world actually. Child is born in truth. But modernity takes the child away from all this rootedness with which the child is already being born. It undermines actually the real capacity, quality in children. But the child is also very fragile. So there is this two things that I think needs to be looked at. One is the immense potential, immense ability with the child comes in, and the way this potential can be completely destroyed if the external environment is not right, not conducive to the child's true awakening. And modernity seems to be a place where it doesn't really value this immense potential in children, and it completely destroys the real beingness of a child. This is clear actually only if you compare how a child's beingness is there in indigenous communities and in the modern communities. In indigenous communities, there is absolutely no teaching at all. The child is never told no. The child is never beaten, never scolded. And the child also doesn't ever feel like asking permission. Well, that doesn't even occur to them, that they are completely free. Yeah? Just like any animal would just walk around without any sense of not rootedness. No? That rootedness is given. So the two things that one can explore how a child is completely damaged by the modern system. One is the possessiveness, the selfishness, self-centeredness that modernity imposes on children. Because in an indigenous childhood, there is no sense of ownership that is established. Of course, their parents themselves don't feel ownership, and within their home there is nothing is mine and not yours. Everything is theirs. So this is a very, very important damage that modernity creates in order to make which actually makes the child self-centered, selfish, possessive, which actually moves away from their innate nature to be part of the whole. That is one. And the second is actually the sense of individuation that the child is made to feel, because child is actually a collective being. It's a combination of collective and individual. So it's very interesting with the way children engage with each other, especially children in the indigenous communities, because in modern communities children are actually made selfish, right from the beginning itself, made them to feel that that they are, for example, gendering, for example, a child is gendered right from the childhood to make them aware that I am a girl or I am a boy. But in an indigenous community, if you look at, till about 6-7 years, both boys and girls do exactly the same thing, same games, same activities, without ever feeling that that they are different. Whereas in modern childhood, each child is given, that this color for you, this color for you. Supposed to be, that is what modernity has decided. So right from the time childhood, they are made to feel that these are two different beings. So I am a boy, so I will play with these kind of things. I am a girl, so I will play with these kind of things. This is actually an imposition of a modern mindset actually. Children actually in indigenous communities absolutely have no such divisions. Both boys and girls play the same game and they play together, without any such division. So what essentially modernity is doing, that it is establishing psychologically that you are different from the other. So actually this gendering is what is really harmful. This is one. The other one, how they break the collective, is that children's, actually as I was telling, the children have a collective mind. When few children come together and play, they function as if they have only one mind. So one mind that is functioning in that system. So actually this is my brother's son who told me this, that that when children play together, they seem to have one mind and thinking in exactly the similar manner. So he was giving an example actually. One day he was with other children on a tamarind tree which is just near a pond. So they imagine that they are on a ship, and they are traveling in this huge ocean. They are traveling and they are talking about that journey, and all of them seems to be immersed in that activity. And then somebody is saying, look, there is an island, and everybody seems to be looking at that and seeing it. See, this actually, when I recall some of the incidents that I saw in Sadhana Village School, where children come together and doing one activity, and they are different age groups, they are never one single age, different age groups, and they are doing an activity. For example, I remember they were making a temple, and all the 6-7 children were doing things separately. Nobody is in charge. Nobody is directing any activity. There seems to be a one mind functioning in that. And of course, this one mind functioning is there in every other living creature. Like how a bird flies together. It's as if that one mind is functioning. And it is there in almost every other living being. And I am actually thinking that it is there also in human beings. That especially you can see this in indigenous communities, that when they work together, they don't talk much. There is no verbal instructions to telling others you should do that, you should do this. There seems to be a one body functioning together, and people are doing different things, but in a very, very interesting coordination. So I think because of this insistence on individualism as a modern way of being, modernity is not able to go deeper and question whether this is a right way of understanding. Whether this individuality, is it is it something that has gone wrong with the human journey, or is it actually something that what they call as progress, you know? So